these miniature paintings made with melted Crayola crayons of very famous artworks throughout the canon. And it's like something from a child's point of view.
If I could just have you introduce yourself, who are you and what do you do?
Chambliss Giobbi, and I'm an artist. I started by making these photo collages from photographs I took of people, but from many, many different positions, clothed, unclothed. And I would tear the photos and refabricate this kind of distorted, ghoulish almost image. They were deeply kind of psychological. And then I moved on to these sculptures because once we had kids, I started thinking much more about how the way children see the world. And I did a whole series of sculptures called Arcadia, which were these Mobius strips that were really about, like, they were made using miniature modeling technique. So you'd have these trees and these waterfalls, and it was this very kind of Arcadian, because they were really about the memories that we create of a childhood that might have not been so utopian.
Yeah.
And then I moved on using these same ideas of childhood, or cleaning out our kids' rooms. We found all these Crayola crayons. And so I started making these miniature, some of them are there, these miniature paintings made with melted Crayola crayons of very famous artworks throughout the canon. Made out of children's crayons, which are often the first thing a child uses to make art with. And when you get these monumental pieces that are so like, that have this history and a market and all this white noise associated, the myth of the artist, all this white noise associated with them, and then you make them with crayons and you make them in miniature, you're like recontextualizing it. They're reproductions, but working with melted crayons is, it's just impossible. It's not easy like working with paint. Making these miniature things with a little paintbrush and oil paint is easy. But working with these crayons it's a toxic, not health-wise, but it's a toxic relationship because it's so hard to work with. To me, even though a lot of people think they're perfect as far as facsimiles go, I like the idea that they really are failures trying to remake the real thing. I did a small series of work which is combining well-known paintings by two artists that normally have nothing to do with each other, nothing in common, but realizing they actually did have something in common. And so there are these pieces where I'm combining two artists' work. In the second one, you know, the top half is a Francis Bacon figure, and the lower half is Alfred Olin, who does these very strange things where he mixes these very hard-edged shapes with this very, very kind of flesh-like palette that's colorful, but...
Do you have any piece that you've just like recently finished, or what's like your newest work that you have like displayed out in your studio?
The first one is the one in that corner, that kind of off-white yellow one with the green on the side. And I couldn't believe it, actually, how nature had created this slime and moss and erosion that look like these abstract paintings. So I made those for a couple of years, and then I started realizing that, well, let's talk about the wall. These are like paintings of walls, but really they're walls on other walls. The canvas is a wall. It's made me think that sort of paintings are like caste systems. Everything is in service or a slave to this painted image. So this painted image is like something that has nothing to do with the rest of the world. When in fact, you know, I think all of those things count. So I started breaking it down, where canvas is starting to, where I'm starting to actually deconstruct, this is Lulu, my dog, where I'm starting to deconstruct the canvas and the stretcher, even like bring the signature from the back and the title forward. For example, this is one of the earlier ones where, you know, there's this wall that I painted, and this took 2.5 months to paint this. And then I started kind of putting canvas over it, ripping stuff, ripping stuff off. It's too small for the image is too small for this. It's askew. You're seeing the back, the back panel here, bringing the title forward, the hothouse, incorporating the staples. This is just the beginning of basically a deconstruction of what you're used to seeing as an image. And then you have these. The title is incorporated into it. You have an image, but the image is beginning to disappear over the side. You have another stretcher. You have these areas where you can see through it to the wall behind it. Same with this one, Even my name I've put in there just because it's unfolding it.
Yeah.
It's really a kind of a conceptual idea of showing the picture for what it is, not as this kind of window. What I'm working toward is making paintings that know they're paintings. That they know that they're these objects. They're not trying to take you somewhere else. So the hothouse is a Harold Pinter play, which I adore, which is really about this kind of entrapment. And these are Play Without Words 1, Play Without Words 2. Like each one of these is like a 10-minute play by Samuel Beckett. This is The Sandbox. I'm using the names of these plays as a launching point.
Yeah, could you kind of just like talk about your process in creating that piece?
You mean like how it's made?
Yeah.
I find these images when I, around Brooklyn and wherever, and I photograph them and thinking about how can I sort of disturb it? How can I make the wrong painting? How can I make a mistake? So, I did this panel. I figured, why have the panel go all the way across? So I stopped it early. Why have the canvas stop with that? The canvas keeps going here, here. Here, the canvas goes and then it's rolled.
Yeah.
And then the stretcher is exposed. And then I have canvas on the wrong side, on the back of it. And then I just put this piece of wood here and I just hit it with a screwdriver and it broke.
Is there a reason that you like to kind of destroy your pieces?
Then the piece asks questions.
Yeah.
It doesn't give you answers.
Yeah. What about this piece right behind you?
This is actually the front and back of a 40-foot wide freestanding handball court wall.
Oh.
What I loved about doing this is that it's so completely abstract, you have no idea what you're looking at.
Yeah.
And also another thing I realized is that the palette, they're like those Japanese Edo landscapes.
Is there another piece you would like to talk about within your studio?
That one's actually kind of cool. Those 7 vertical pictures over there. The cool thing about those is they're all photographs of the same wall, but photographed at different times of day and different times of year. 3 months later or 2 months later, I'd do another photograph and the wall would be completely different because the city would come in and do a layer of paint over some graffiti that didn't quite match.
Yeah.
And they're kind of another example of amazing sort of abstractions.
Is there anything else you'd like to add just to finish everything off?
No?
Cool.
Yeah.
Thank
That's
you.
it.
I
Thank
appreciate
you
you being down for an
Thanks
interview.
so much. Thanks for coming.
Yeah.